Okay, guys, just another minute or so, so we can get your seats, please. Make sure your phones are turned off or on silent. We'll get started. The Sausage King. You're a good man. Hit the wall, yeah. Not unusual, mate. Okay, how we going? We're good? Okay, while you're all taking your seat, I'll... Alrighty. Pretty much it. All right, guys, I'll introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Edgar. I got to meet the Warrens in the early 80s when they came to Gympie. I was playing, loosely termed, playing footy here in the under 15s right through to seniors. So I'm really honoured today to be asked to be the Master of Ceremonies for this. So today is going to be a very, very special day. Obviously, we're bonded by a great love for the Warren family, in particular Ray. So I've got a few words to say there. But first of all, we're going to be hooking straight into Amazing Grace. So you're right to go with that, guys.
Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieved. How precious is that grace appeared the hour I first believed, when we bend there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've numberless days to sing God's praise. Then when we first begun, that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
So that's it. Sorry, I'm not familiar with that song. I am. So what a beautiful start. So today we gather as family and friends to celebrate and reflect on the extraordinary life of Ray Warren. Whilst this is an incredibly sad time, Ray's family want us to celebrate him, reflect on some cherished stories and memories, and the impact he had on all that knew him. His values and love for family and friends will live on forever through his incredible legacy, which is his children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, and in some cases, his very close friends. So I just want to remember today, like, you know, funerals they're pretty shit. We know that. But today where every single person in this room and outside are here for one reason only, to be here for the Warrens, in particular to celebrate Ray. So those words are very meaningful. It is a very sad time, but we're here for the Warrens, and we want to really put really think of all the happy and great times we had, because, you know, the guy could build a family. Those Warrens can absolutely breed, can't they? But it's and they've continued to do so. So I'm just gonna roll into a couple of little stories, hopefully set the tone. As I said before, I'm incredibly honoured to be asked to speak today. I'm not sure I've ever felt so honoured in my life with anything. It's not something you become good at. I have done eulogies for my mother and father and my brother as well. I was just touching on with Dean before, but Ray meant so much to so many people, including us, and I hope I can do this occasion justice. I also really hope I don't swear, which is highly likely, so please bear with me. As I said before, I first met the Warrens when I was playing under 15s with the Mangas and all those guys. Dean was playing up as usual. The whole family made an immediate impact. I remember this club is built on families. There were some incredible families here, you know, the Roe Warren Oval. So there's one, the McMullen Complex. I hope I don't miss anyone out here. You know, the Hatheralls, Bob Baldry Bar, the Mangas, as I said before. There was an incredible amount of blood, sweat and tears went into building this club. And it isn't about the bricks and mortar or premierships. They were pretty few and far between back then, I can tell you. But, you know, I can tell you that, you know, that tin shed over to my left over there was really where this club was built. I can remember being a young kid there, going to footy trail on Thursday night, sneaking a can of 4X and probably the old Marlboro too, just being in awe of the seniors drinking until, you know, 10 or 11 o'clock at night. No wonder we didn't win anything. But you know, it was just such an amazing club with so many epic families. And you know what? It's we played in a pretty tough comp when we played in the Sunshine Coast comp. There's some really great football here. It was pretty rough at times, which I'm sure Dean will talk about later. But those Thursday nights were really unreal. And as I said, just being in awe of senior players and that legacy they left here before was pretty crazy. So I sort of remember when I sort of first met Ray, and it was like it was just this whole family came in, and he very quickly earned a bit of a reputation as a tough guy on the footy field. But you know, as far as his family concerned, as much love as he could give his family, he certainly would. But you wouldn't want to cross him on the footy field because you'd be sorry. Yeah. I'll just talk a little about how I really became really close with Ray. My transition to senior footy back in those days, you finished playing under 15s and you're backed up into reserve grade straight away. Typically in reserve grade in Queensland, you're going to find someone in the back pocket about 45, 50 years of age who's overweight. They're normally a brickie and they'll punch a shit out of you at any given opportunity. So Ray wasn't that guy. He did fit the bill, but he'd whack you if you deserved it. But there was none of this whacking people for no reason. I remember one day at Tin Can Bay, playing away down there, and there was a family who were quite famous down there, the Ely brothers, pretty good footballers. I don't know what was happening. I was playing ruck, Dean was playing rover, Ray was in the back pocket, and I remember one of the Elys whacked Dean, and I couldn't do much about it. I'm pretty piss poor at fighting, and I was probably throwing a couple and got a few. And I just remember this Ray got a nickname from me at that point called the Windmill. He came in, and there was so much punches flying. There was people flying everywhere. There was a bit of damage done that day, but well deserved, and they never touched Dean again. But they also didn't show up to the tribunal. I was still very scared of Ray, which was good. But those days were just full of bonding and mateship, really. It was quite incredible. So it was, that's really where, I think, when you play footy with your mates, you're on the field, spilling some blood, sometimes your own, sometimes other people's, and Ray's case was usually someone else's. But I remember the last story on football here was I played in a grand final out here against Harvey Bay. We never really beat Harvey Bay that I remember. But I remember Ray dropped me that day. I was pretty pissed off about that. I came on at quarter time, and I ended up kicking a few that day. But a big brawl started right in front of the old coaches' boxes there, and we certainly won the fight. I kicked 2 goals while the fight was on, which was good. But we got done pretty convincingly. I think the girls even had a fight as well. Kimmy, I think you might have been involved in that. But really what happened there was my dad had the Northumberland Hotel then, so we were in the change rooms in there, just cursing the Harvey Bay Bombers. They're singing their song. My dad came in with a 9-gallon keg. We didn't leave for 3 hours, and we just sat in there drinking. And I particularly remember Ray. He was the coach, and I sort of won't ever forget the feeling we had in that room that day. We got done, but gee, the bonding and mateship was pretty incredible, and it was pretty amazing. So really, I sort of feel like that was the footy stuff, but the Warrens bought a house out to, we sold the pub, and Mum and Dad had the Victory store, and the Warrens were out there where they still are today. And I got to know them really well. And so they stayed in contact with us, and it's one of those things where people stay in contact. It's easy to fall out of contact, but even, like any time I'd come to Gympie with my wife, my mum and dad are both buried at the crematorium over there, we'd come up once a year, we'd always catch up. And the testament of how awesome this family is, we'd always meet at the pub or something. You'd have 10 or 20 people there. So it was pretty awesome. And I think that's just the respect and the values that the Warrens have, and I'm in awe of them. So I just wanted to share a couple of those stories, but have I sworn? No, that's good. That's that. All right. So we're going to move into the next part of the service now. So I'll call on Cal, Kim and Shan for A Father's Love, a poem, please. Yeah, you can clap. Let's do clapping.
A father's love is a guiding light, a beacon through the darkest night. His strength and wisdom, a source of hope. In his embrace, we find the strength to cope. He taught us how to laugh and play, and showed us the right path each day. His love was unconditional and pure, a bond that forever will endure. Though he may be gone, his love remains. In our hearts, it forever sustains. We'll cherish the memories we've shared, knowing his love for us will never be impaired. Thank you.
That's easier. Well done, girls. And look, we all know how hard it is to do that stuff, so incredibly strong, so well done. And I really do encourage applause, because this is not a church, okay? There's nothing religious ever happened in this place, but or maybe. Ask me at the bar later. I've got a few good stories about this club rooms. Okay, we got another poem now it's called A Little While. Call on Rianne, one of the grandchildren. I think there might be a couple of other grandkids coming. There's a couple of, yeah, whole lot. Beautiful. There's enough room on stage. You want to hold?
Thank you. I'll start. Okay. Fill not your heart with pain and sorrow, but remember me in every tomorrow. Remember the joy, the laughter, the smile. I've only gone to rest for a little while. Although my leaving causes pain and grief, my going has eased my hurt and given me relief. So dry your eyes and remember me, not as I am now, but as I used to be, because I will remember you all and look on with a smile. Understand in your hearts, I've only gone to rest for a little while. I've got another poem. It's called Pop Kept a Garden. Pop kept a garden of the heart. He planted all the good things that gave our lives their start. He turned to us to the sunshine and encouraged us to dream, fostering and nurturing the seeds of self-esteem. And then the winds rain came, and he protected us enough, but not too much, because he knew we would stand up strong and tough. His constant good example always taught us right from wrong, markers for our pathway that will last a lifetime long. We are our Pop's garden. We are his legacy. Thank you, Pop. We love you.
Gee, awesome and very significant poems. Well done. So we've got little Lenny now. Is this right? Yeah. So I vote Lenny the best dressed here. Does everyone agree? Yeah, he's a little man, isn't he? Come over here, mate. I'll hold the microphone for you.
Okay, thank you.
Hang on. Come on, Lenny.
Pop loved his garden, the flowers and trees, the buzzing bees and the soft warm breeze. He cared for each plant with love and pride, and now those memories live inside. So when I see a flower grow, I think I'm Pop and I miss him so.
I got Lenny boy. Oh, good. That's what it's all about. You beauty. Where are we up to? Gee, that's gone quick. Okay, we're but significant. How awesome is that, guys? You know what? Like, that is so amazing. Not easy to do. Okay. I'm going to roll into the eulogies now. So this is a pretty tough part. I know this from experience. And please put your love around for Dean. I think Glenn's going to pop up too.
Thanks everyone, and on behalf of the family, thanks so much for coming today to help us celebrate and remember Raymond Arthur Warren. Thanks, Steve. That's not working?
No, sure.
Proud, loyal, honest, generous.
Yeah.
Sorry. No. Awesome. Well done. Thank you. I'll start again. Just on behalf of the family, I just want to thank everyone for coming to help us celebrate and remember Raymond Arthur Warren, our dad. Proud, loyal, honest, kind, generous with his time, funny, well, he thought so anyway, and an immense love of family. That's our dad. Dad wasn't an overly educated man. He went to the University of having a crack and working hard. He was a man of many talents, but master of just a few, except his ability to operate and drive a truck. With 5 kids to feed, he did whatever it took to put food on our table. Yep, Mum was pregnant for 6 or 7 football seasons in a row. In the early days, this included working on a sheep station, owning a tip truck and a quarry, dairy farming, driving a milk tanker, plus to earn a little bit of extra cash, he would do contract fencing, contract hay carting, relief milking, and even laying blocks to repair dairies that other tanker drivers had backed into. We didn't have much growing up, but what we did have was an amazing love of our family, with the occasional childhood blue. Kim used to punch the living daylights out of me when I was a kid. Growing up, he called me Junior, and I just idolised him. It's fair to say I was his little shadow. At about age 4, I'd go to work with him in his his tip truck. This is where I learnt to swear. I was trying to learn how to talk, which I struggled with in my early days. I had no idea that the F word was bad until Mum washed my mouth out with cod liver oil. Dad told me not long after, son, you should never swear in front of ladies. Sorry, Dad, a bit too late. Being the eldest son wasn't always roses. Dad's nickname when we grew up when he was in Victoria was Smelly. This was given to him by his mates at the local pub after he'd had a full day of crutching sheep. So unfortunately, I was known as Little Smelly at our local football club, Princetown, where Dad was a premiership player and life member. I still remember him drop kicks out from fullback when he was in his prime. In 1981, we moved from Simpson in country Victoria to Gympie. To make the move, Dad bought an old, very old, Bedford furniture removal truck. He did the engine up and painted it a calf shit yellowy brown colour. It looked bloody horrendous. So off we went, towing a trailer with Mum and the rest of the kids following behind in the Valiant station wagon. It was the longest, slowest trip of all time. The old Bedford reaching top speed of about 45 miles an hour, and that was going downhill. But we ended up making it safe and sound, probably about 5 days later. We stayed at our good friends Belle and Kev Andrews until we found a place of our own. Belle and Kev had moved to Simpson from Gympie, where Kev had worked with Dad at the craft milk factory before they moved back. Other than the love of his family, football was Dad's other passion. When we settled, he quickly threw himself into the Gympie Cats Footy Club as a player, coach, committee man, even laying a lot of the blocks that you see in this clubhouse today. John McMullen, Bob Baldry and Mrs Hatherall and Dad were the mainstays of the Gympie Cats through the 80s. Dad continued for the next 3 decades, fulfilling every volunteer role possible. Mum and Dad even took out a personal loan at one point to help the club when it was battling in the mid-80s. He did development work for the club in the early days, visiting schools to promote the club and the game. My good mate Matty Gamble fondly remembers Dad turning up to James Nash in probably around 1982 to conduct a clinic with one old footy wearing his desert boots. He loved his desert boots. The old man as a footballer. The old man as a football player. Well, let's just say he wasn't gifted with a lot of natural talent, but shit, his determination, courage, guts and intestinal fortitude, he loved that saying, together with his sharp elbows and ability to throw a backhander, made him a valuable team man. I played my first senior game for Gympie at age 14 in the Sunshine Coast League, which at the time was a very strong league. Dad fondly recalls receiving a call from Wes Parry, the league president at the time. Wes is actually here today, who informed him that the other clubs weren't happy with me playing because I was too small, and they were right. Dad knew Wes from their early years in Gippsland, where Wes made his senior debut at a similar age. So fair to say, Dad told Wes that the other clubs can go and get. You can probably guess the rest. But Wes knew what the response would be, but he had to make the call anyway. Dad always told Mum that he would retire from playing once he played senior footy with me. Well, I think we ended up playing 40 or 50 games together before I moved to Brisbane. So he extended that to Bones and then finally retiring in his late 50s, I think, around his late 50s. Bones and I learned a lot from playing with the old man, not always positive though. If we copped one from the opposition, you'd hear him yell from the back pocket, as Steve said, "I'll sort you out, you prick." And probably a lot of other expletives in the middle of that. I think I was in more blues playing those games with the old man than the rest of my entire footy career. And I think Bones kept that legacy going well after Dad retired. And I think Cade's continued it on now. During his playing days and after, he'd always coached junior teams, helping to guide and nurture the next generation. Not long after moving to Gympie, Dad started working with Greg Corbett and Dennis Jers, driving milk tankers. Dad had an incredible work ethic, loyalty, and was a trusted and respected employee of Greg, Dennis, and before retiring, Tim Jensen. He loved his work driving trucks and was incredibly proud of Bones when he started driving. He would tell me, Bones is a bloody good operator, Dino. And I'd say, yep, well, he had a good teacher. I think Bones drove him and his truck home from Harvey Bay one night after delivering cement to Fraser Island, late one night when Dad was absolutely knackered. Yeah, but close your ears, Greg Corbett, if you're here. I think Bones was only 14 or 15. And I think the story goes that when they got off the barge coming across, Glenn took over and Dad woke up at about Chatsworth and said, I better take over to get you through town, mate. He said, piss off. I've driven this far. I'm driving through town and up to the shed. So well done, Bones. After retiring, Mum and Dad did a couple of laps of Australia, towing their caravan through, although many trips were cut short due to the arrival of grandkids and later great-grandkids. Both Mum and Dad would come back telling us where they'd been and who they'd met along the way. As everyone here knows, especially Mum, they can and would strike up a conversation with anyone. Mostly while parked up at a free campsite along the way. They were too tight to buy a site in a caravan park. Unfortunately, Dad was dealt a double blow in his mid-70s. His kidney function finally got to a stage where he required dialysis 3 times a week. And he was also diagnosed with dementia. But typical of our old man, he didn't complain, he just got on with it. He was such a tough and resilient bugger right to his last breath. Whilst it's been incredibly tough watching the man that we've idolised fade away over the last 3 years, I'm so incredibly proud of Mum, Kimmy, Shan, Bones and Kel, Reedy, Jace, Lukey and all of the grandkids for the way they've supported Dad and Mum during this time. And obviously my beautiful wife, Tone. He's much loved, as you can tell by the turnout today, and he's left an amazing legacy. Rest in peace, Dad. I love you.
Thanks, Dino. Look, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really going to say anything because I know I'd probably stand up here and sort of just go to turn to shit, really. But anyway, I sort of felt like I had to. Not only to basically, I'm not going to stand up here and tell everyone what a great fella Dad was because, you know, everyone in this room knew that. You know, and he's left a fairly decent sort of legacy around the place for us to continue and hopefully to grow. So I sort of end up writing just a couple of little things this morning. That's how organised I am. I just wanted to say, just basically thank a few people that sort of, yeah, look, just basically all the renal staff up at dialysis, you know, those people up there, absolutely fantastic. And they definitely saw the best in Dad and his funny wit, his funny humour, his cheekiness, fun-loving bloke that we all knew. And obviously right to the end, to the cranky old prick that he turned out to be. But he still, you know, to this day, he was still, you know, right till his dying breath, he was still trying to crack a funny, and he was still, you know, he was still trying to be with it and just be Dad, you know. And that's a testament to his courage, his ability to just keep fighting, and that's what he done. He fought and fought and fought right till the end, and unfortunately, it lost. I'm pretty sure a dialysis crew up there will miss Christmas time. Dad every year threw on the old Santa suit, being Dad, being the cheery sort of fella that he was, threw the old Santa suit on, big bag of lollies, and off he went, delivering lollies, thinking he was bloody Santa Claus. But I'm sure they'll miss that, so I'm sure we'll miss it as well. But thanks to all the renal staff, if anybody's here. Also Peter used to drop that off every afternoon sort of thing when he could. So thanks, Pete, if you're here, mate. Really, really appreciate that. To all the doctors, nurses, staff at the hospital, all the palliative care, you know, you guys are just amazing. So, you know, thanks very much. Also, Adam and Tony and all the skill-centred people, thanks so much this week for coming in, giving the place a good tidy up, helping us set up everything. Really, really means the world. So thank you, guys. footy club, Matty, and the committee, thanks very much, mate. I really appreciate you, the use of the footy club. Obviously, the amount of work that the old man done out here and whatever, with his legacy and everything, it was obviously fitting that we have his service out here. So before I even picked up the phone, Tony Kersop was on the phone to me, saying, Bones, you know, the place is yours, just let us know what you need. So thank you, guys. Really, really appreciate that. Also, Jess Hogan, big fella, who done all the posts on behalf of the footy club. Mate, you hit the nail on the head with everyone, mate, so thank you so much for that. Basically, as Dino said earlier, you know, thanks everyone for turning up today. You know, family, friends, everyone knows who you are. Also, I was going to touch on, you know, all everyone as well. You know, Kimmy, Dino's, you know, obviously the old man was probably my biggest idol in my life, but this bloke's my second. So the way that he just takes everything on board and just runs with it, unbelievable. I don't know how you do it, mate, honestly. Thank you. Good thing about our family is that, you know, everyone jumps in, does what they have to do. Everyone plays their role. You know, maybe a couple more than others, but, you know, we really appreciate that. We are a pretty tight-knit group. You know, thank you. You know, it has been a really rough couple of weeks. So I was going to sort of touch on, you know, thanks, Reedy, Lukey, Tone, Jace, you know, and to my wife, Anne-Marie. It's without your support the last couple of weeks, I honestly, you know, we'd be really struggling. So thank you. Also, everyone that sent messages of condolences, you know, it's really touching to just see how many lives that the old man did touch, and the messages that I've received is unbelievable. You know, he certainly left a fingerprint on a lot of people and a lot of families. So thanks, guys, for all those messages. We really, really appreciate that. Last of all, once I get wound up, I don't want to stop, so I'll call it quits now. But Steve-O, thanks, mate. Toughest job in the world you got, mate, and you've nailed it on the head, and we probably couldn't think of a better person to be up here, and I'm sure the old man's looking down going, wow, you picked the right bloke for that. Good job. Thanks. I will miss you, Dad. Love you, mate.
Pretty tough. You got that wrong, mate. That's easy for me. You guys, it's tough. You know, I said some stuff to Dean last week. I don't want to get sad here, but I'm gonna. I couldn't even say use him in a past tense because that's how it feels like. You don't want to let go, right? But you know, I think it's particularly hard. I mean, losing loved ones is not easy for anybody. I know that, but like when you have someone as tough. And the word lion was used before for Ray. It was like, you know, you sort of feel like they're indestructible. And when you have people like that in your life, you sort of think they're going to protect you forever. And life doesn't do that. This is what, you know, these mechanisms like today are a mechanism for closure. But look, it's about love, getting around each other today. And full respect to all your family for being able to come up here and say those words. As I said before, it is not easy at all. So well done, fellas. And look, and girls, and Lenny and everyone. We're not finished yet, but just can you get a round of applause? Because it is bloody tough, that. We're going to now call on Tony Kersop from the Gympie Footy Club. So we're going to pop up and say a few words, Tony. Sorry, did I miss someone? I missed Declan. What a dickhead. See? Not you, me. I'm not even drunk, Declan. Not yet, anyway. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Tony. There you go. Pumping me up, and I just made a mistake. Well done. You're a tall unit. I better get you higher.
How's that? It's been done. No, that's good. That's good. Shit. I thought I'd be all right, but good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by saying how honoured I am and we are. Hamish is going to help me with part of this, but to be speaking on behalf of Pop's grandchildren. There are so many, and to be given this honour is incredible. In creating this speech and hearing from each of us, it became increasingly clear that we all have our own stories, memories, and a unique connection with Pop that can never be replaced. To quote Pop, I think I've done a pretty fucking good job of my family over the years. How right he was. One of Pop's key strengths was his ability to build a deep love and a strong personal connection with each of us. He did not love us because of who he wanted us to be, but for who we were. He made the effort to understand us and appreciate our differences. When speaking of his family, he spoke with love, compassion, and of intricate details of who and how we were. This was often followed with a funny story or a hypothetical. In the past few years, I tried keeping a record of things that Pop and I would do together. I recorded him telling stories of his life, moments of us just sitting and chatting, or simple tasks that we had done together since I was young, like service cars or start and not finish a project, which ended up amongst all the other shit in his shed. I would write down funny moments or things that he would always say. I did this because I didn't want him to go. I wanted so desperately to keep as much of him with us as I could. That cheeky, dry humour, his stories, his kindness, his knowledge, that incredible laugh, and our deep friendship. Though I tried, it quickly became clear that there are simply no number of words and no amount of footage that could truly encapsulate how incredible this man was, or as much as I wished could keep him here with us. What I did realise, however, after speaking with and watching the family when he had gone, is that he lives on through us all. This saying is one that I never truly understood until now. I'd always thought it as a somewhat hollow way to cope with loss, but I see it now. I see him in our connection, the jokes we tell, the love that we share, the way we laugh. He has forever embedded parts of himself into each of us, and I see him in every single one of you. So how did he accomplish this? And how could one man have impacted so many and left so much behind once he was gone? When the grandkids sent their words to me, I discovered that there are two key themes that highlight just how he did it. Themes that we could all learn from and take with us into the future. The following words are their words. Part one is the feeling. For Clay, it wasn't just about the memories Pop gave her, but rather a feeling. Every time she went to Pop's house, he'd put the kettle on, white and one they would have, and they would always have the same. But it was never really about the tea. It was the feeling he gave her. No matter how she was feeling beforehand, walking through his door felt like coming home. Pop had a special way of making the ordinary moments feel special. He always slowed down to be truly present with you in that moment. See, some of our favourite memories were going to spend time with everyone at Nan and Pop's. Even though there were so many of us cousins, you never felt like you had to fight for Pop's attention. He always made you feel seen and loved, and he would go out of his way to make each of us feel welcome, safe, and important. You always felt better after seeing him. And even though we can't visit him in the same way anymore, the feeling he gave us hasn't gone anywhere. It lives on in every memory, every story, every laugh that we share today. Part two is memories. I'm going to ask Hammer to read that part.
Memories are where love stays when everything else changes. Chelsea doesn't think of one big moment. She thinks of all the little ones. Going to Poppy's place was never just a visit, it was an experience. He didn't just tell us how to have fun, he built it for us. Tree houses that felt like castles, swings over the creek that made you feel like you were flying, cubbies where our imaginations ran wild. He gave us a childhood full of adventure, scraped knees, mulberry-stained clothes, muddy feet, and the kind of memories that last forever. But more than the treehouse or the treats, Poppy gave us something bigger. He gave us a place that brought us all together. His home was where cousins became best friends, where laughter echoed, where we learned that what family really feels like. We will miss his stories, his hugs, his jokes, peaches and ice cream, whisker kisses, and omelettes that always tasted better at his table. Rianne remembers going on trips to Rocky with Pop in the milk truck and singing songs together on the road. She remembers making him
She remembers him making them ice cream with Milo on top as a treat, something that always felt so special. When Casey was a little girl, some of her most special memories were made standing at the front gates of her farm along the highway, waiting for Pop to arrive in his truck. She remembers the excitement of seeing him coming down the road, knowing that they were about to head off on one of their big adventures together. To her, those moments felt so big, and somehow their adventures almost always ended up at the Ned Kelly truck stop in Maryborough, where she got to choose from a ring lollipop and a Kinder Surprise. When it was time to say goodbye, he always would rub his nose on hers before giving her a big smooch. It was such a small, gentle thing, but it meant everything. One of those things Ty remembers most was riding around with him in his truck. Those were some of the best times, just being with him and feeling like you were part of his world. When he and Jared were little and went to be bull riders like Troy Dan, Pop built them a bull riding pen so they could have a go themselves. That's just the kind of person he was. If we had a dream or a big idea, he would find a way to make it happen. One story that always stuck with Ty was when he was at the truck stop in Coffs Harbour and noticed a tilt tray that he had made. Pop waited around there just so he could see the driver and tell him with pride, "My grandson made that." That meant a lot to him, and it shows the kind of pride he had in his family. One of Kyne's earliest memories is Pop coming to rescue Brookie and him from a taipan. He remembers spending time down at the dam with him and Noah catching catfish. The countless times Pop took him to the hospital with a broken bone after hearing, "It'll be right." He remembers the complete pride and happiness that he felt when he asked him to join him in the truck down to Adelaide. Pop shared stories with him that he said he had never been told anyone else before, and he asked for it to stay that way. Hammer spoke of being able to chat shit with him and have a laugh. Pop was never too serious and never took himself too serious. He loved telling a story. He could always tell a good story. Noah spoke of memories, but will never forget when he had a black thoroughbred horse that he hadn't had a saddle on in 2 years. He and Pop thought it would be a good idea to throw a saddle on it one day. Next thing you know, Pop is helping him hop on it, and this horse has bucked so bloody hard it threw him off and smashed his ribs. Pop, being Pop, immediately said, "Don't worry, son, I'll sort this prick." So it was Pop's turn. He got on, up he got, and to his luck, a stirrup broke off the saddle. With Pop then dangling off the side, hitting his head, and boy, was he hurting. The two of them then spent the afternoon up in the hospital together having a laugh and talking about the one that got away.
So there it is, the feeling and the incredible memories. Pop, we are so incredibly proud to be your grandchildren. We love you, we miss you, and we will never forget you. I've just been asked quickly by Auntie Kim to thank the Little Haven nurse who was there with us on the night that Pop passed and guided us through those moments. Without her, I think it would have been incredibly difficult. So we'd just like to thank you in the incredible work that you do. I now invite Kay to share his part.
It's hard to pinpoint just one memory when you gave us so many. From going away on the trips in the truck, to trips away to Woodgate in the caravan, to making mechanical balls and billy carts. There was always a lesson to be learnt or a laugh to be had with you, Pop. You created your own empire and have left behind a legacy that has touched so many. Cheers to you, Pop. Love always, them bloody Kents.
Geez, that's some tribute right there, isn't it? Another round of applause, guys. That's pretty amazing. So well done. and just not easy. I do apologise for missing that little mix-up on here. That's why I don't do this for a job, right? Okay, so now it's Tony's turn to come up. Tony from the footy club.
I'm just here to speak on behalf of the footy club today, on behalf of Jason Bromlow, a good mate of Ray's, and myself. I think the first thing I remember, what I'll miss is the first thing you saw when you saw Ray is you got a smile on your face. You just knew it was about to start. It was a poke in the ribs, or it was just something that was coming your way, and you were just going to start laughing about it. And I'll miss that. I really miss that. I used to come up behind him and give him a tickle, and he'd turn around and he'd say, "I bloody knew it was you." We had great fun, Ray. But as far as what he's left behind, and from Declan and Dean and Bones and you girls, it's just you've done such a great job with your words here today. Ray was the bloke that they come up with a saying that says he's the bloke that would take the shirt off his back to help you, and that was Ray. He would take the shirt off his belt to let anyone pass where they were getting through, and we all knew that for Ray, and I think everyone would have done the same for Ray. So I won't be here long. I just want to say, Helen, I'm sorry for your loss and the rest of your family. He was an awesome guy. Look, the umpires called play on, and we will. The game's just got a hell of a lot tougher, but from the football club, thank you so much for your legacy of what you've left behind, what you've put together. The amount of faces and happy smiles that have come through here is a legacy to not only him, but to the whole lot of you guys, all of you. Well done.
Good stuff, Tony. Well done. So if there's anybody else who would like to step up onto this stage and say a few words, anything at all, just feel free to do so. Okay.
And I'll stand this way. Probably won't need it. I can talk really loud because I'm related to Ray Warren. Yep, that's fine. Thank you. I haven't actually written anything. I'm just actually up here on behalf of the extended family, my dad, Uncle Poss, all of the cousins who experienced a very similar upbringing to all of his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. He was a pretty amazing man. And although I didn't get a chance to spend much time with him in his later years, I did get to spend a fair amount of time with him growing up. We lived across the road, and I know some of the things that we got up to. I have a vague memory of climbing out the window, or my brother climbing out the window to hang out with the cousins, because we weren't allowed to be out after dark, or actually 6 o'clock, which is in Victoria, still daylight, and we would hang out with them. I have an awesome memory of Uncle Ray. He was like a second dad, and every time he saw me, he'd say, "G'day, Shelley." And I don't know, I wonder whether that's where the name Shelley came from the rest of the family, or whether it was just what it was. But I think he was the first to call me that, and it always made me feel that little bit extra special. He was an amazing human. He had a great sense of humour. He was a good brother. I'm pretty sure he gave Dad a bit of a hard time when he was young, and probably Uncle Poss too. Yeah. But they had an amazing relationship. And out of the 5 brothers that were in that family, Nana would have been super proud of the family that he has created. I'm absolutely certain of that. He was there when I was in labour with my first child. At the hospital, came for a visit actually, and that was pretty special. He was just the most amazing human, and as extended family, and the fact that we are a little bit removed, it doesn't mean that he hasn't impacted our life. He absolutely impacted my life, and I know my brother's lives. He was so supportive of us growing up, was always there cheering Wazza on at the footy. I remember when Wazza came up to Gympie and played in the under-12s state championship. I don't know what they call it these days, and how proud he was. It was a one best and fairest. And just, yeah, what an amazing, amazing human being. And he'd be so proud of every single one of you lot. He would absolutely be so proud of you standing here. And I actually today was at the life-saving prize home, and I'm like, channeling Uncle Ray, he's going to make me win that house so I can move back to Queensland. Thank you.
All righty, well done. That's good. You are a Warren. I can see it in your face. Yeah, they're everywhere, aren't they? Okay, so does anybody else would like to pop up? Good balancing.
Wes Parry. Thank you for that. My name's Wes Parry. Ray and I knew each other in Gippsland. Hard worker, very hard worker. But I remember one particular thing that came up before. I was chairman of the Sunshine Coast League during the 80s and that sort of thing. And it was a very tough competition, I can tell you. I received a phone call one night from Axel Anderson, who was a secretary at the time, and said, Wes, we've got a bit of a debate. I said, what's that? 2 clubs wrote in and said that Dean should not be playing football at the age and the size that he was. And at the time I said to Axel, I'm sorry, it happened to me exactly the same age and everything. I don't think that'll be too much of an issue. It was debated at a league meeting, but it didn't get off the ground. Simple as that. And you can see what we've got today. But the other thing I'd like to say is that every club, and we remember when Gympie came into the league, I think it was 72, I think, 71, 72. And it was a struggling club. Used to play down out the back there on the Tin Can Bay Road. And then look at what you've got today. And you say, righto, it's a contribution made by a lot of people, but you need a leader. And it's obviously Ray, his family, the contribution that they've made to this club. And you look back and say, okay, what we've got here now is through the effort. Mass people, but you always need a leader. You need somebody to kick it into gear and to keep it going. It's a wonderful acquisition that you've got here. You've only got to look at the crowd here today. The Gympie is very strong, obviously very strong. And, you know, it's had troubles through the years, but look, it's come out on top now. And it's through Ray, Helen, and the family, and all those others that have made a contribution to make it where it is today. Congratulations, good. And Ray, he's incredible, incredible. I remember going up to Dino's place with Len. Len's here today. We're involved in getting the league up and running initially, and sat down with Ray, and I was back, and then we still talked about the old times, old stories, and the happy-go-lucky attitude that he had. But it's well done, and you know, Ray, well done with the club, and Helen, we wish you well.
Good stuff, Wes. Awesome. Shouldn't forget the ladies involved in footy back in those days too. Remember, Miss McMullen may have jumped over the fence at Nambour and whacked someone with a fold-up aluminium chair. Helen threatened to do so at Wilson Grange on more than one occasion, I do remember as well. So, does anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah, g'day folks. I won't hold you up for too long. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Dean, past player here at Gympie Cats. So I'll just say a quick word on behalf of all the past, present and future players, or at least the ones whose name isn't Kent or Warren. I think there's about 4 of us. For me, this footy club, I've been in and around it now for coming on 25 years, and I've been lucky enough to know Ray and the Kent family and the Warren family. And they take everyone who comes through these 4 walls, they bring them into that extended football family. For me, when my old man passed away 10 years ago, where I came, the next day was here. And that's where I found my support. So Ray, thank you for building this football club. Thank you for that legacy that you leave behind, and thank you for that legacy that will carry on into the future.
Awesome work, Dean. Anybody else? Nope. No one? Okay, I think it's, don't jump over the top of it. Shannon, Lord's Prayer. You want to sing it?
I'm actually going to bring a little bit of church into this place today. Believe it or not, Dad actually was brought up Church of England with his beautiful 5 brothers that thankfully Michelle did mention before, because I was going to make light of them and his beautiful mother, Joyce. He's now got 2 brothers left and we love them very dearly and we want to keep in contact, okay? And to everybody else here, thank you. I'm not going to keep on going because I did get thanked, but there's lots of people watching far and wide, and all our rallies in Victoria, and this bullshit government that we've got in here at the moment that's made fuel go right through the roof. They're still joining us today, so hello everybody. Okay, I'm sure that at least 99% of you know the Lord's Prayer, so if you'd like to join in with me, Dad would really love that. Okay, thank you. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. And one thing that I just want to finish on with that, yes, he was an incredible man and he's left an amazing legacy because of the wonderful love that he had for his wife. Mum was Dad's princess, and we all know that, and we all knew that he used to let her get away with so much crap. But for us children, and you saw everybody, it is a legacy because of the love that they had for one another. 62 years, soon it would have been 59, but we didn't quite get there. But they've been together. Mum was 16, 15, shit. We don't say that. And in Mum's story, they didn't actually have to get married. So we're all legitimate. But I want you to remember that through love, family grows. And we were really, really lucky to have Mum and Dad's love for Mum. So just cherish that forever. Thanks.
Great stuff, Shannon. Awesome. Okay, so we shall now move into the closing part. It's a closing tribute. The family would now like to invite those who are able to do so. Hang on. Slideshow. Done it again. I'm not even drinking. Oh, geez, I've got the sack already. Yeah. Slideshow. Lucky area, Dino. All right, man. Slideshow. Yes, slideshow. In bold too. On there. Yep. Cool.
He was a giant, and I was just a kid. I was always trying to do everything he did. I can still remember every lesson he taught me. Growing up, learning how to be like my old man. He was a lion We were a father's pride, but I was defiant when he made me walk the line. He knew how to lift me up and when to let me fall. Looking back, he always had a plan. My old man, my old man. Feel the callus on his hands and dusty overalls. My old man. Now I finally understand. I have a lot to learn from my old man. Now I'm a giant, got a son of my own. He's always trying to go everywhere I go. Do the best I can to raise him up the right way, hoping that he someday wants to be like his old man. My old man, I know one day we'll meet again. As he's looking down, my old man, I hope he's proud of who I am. I'm trying to fill the boots of my old man. My old man. Daddy, I'm afraid. Won't you stay a little while? Keep me safe, 'cause there's monsters right outside. Daddy, please don't go. I don't want to be alone, 'cause the second that you're gone, they're gonna know. Before he went to bed, he grabbed my hand and said, just 'cause I'm leaving, it don't mean that I won't be right by your side. When you need me, you can't see me in the middle of the night. Just close your eyes and say a prayer. It's okay, I know you're scared when I'm not here, but I'll always be right there. Even though I'm leaving, I ain't going nowhere. Dad will be late, and Uncle Sam don't like to wait. He's got a big old plane that's gonna take me far away. I know I act tough, but there's a churning in my gut, 'cause I just can't call you up when things get rough. Before I left, he hugged my neck and said, just 'cause you're leaving, it don't mean that I won't be right by your side. When you need me, you can't see me in the middle of the night. Just close your eyes and say a prayer. It's okay, I know you're scared, I might be here, but I'll always be right there. Even though you're leaving, I ain't going nowhere. Daddy, I'm afraid. Won't you stay a little while? I never thought I'd see the day I had to say goodbye. Daddy, please don't go. I can't do this on my own. There's no way that I can walk this road alone. Daddy grabbed my hand and said, just 'cause I'm leaving, it don't mean that I won't be right by your side when you need me and you can't see me in the middle of the night. Just close your eyes and say a prayer. It's okay, boy, I ain't scared. I won't be here, but I'll always be right there. Even though I'm leaving, I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive.
I was a sailor, I was born upon the tide. With the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner around the Horn of Mexico. I went aloft and furled the mainsail in a blow. And when the yards broke off, they said that I got killed. But I'm living still. I was a dam builder across the river deep and wide, where steel and water did collide. A place called Boulder on the wild Colorado. I slipped and fell into the wet concrete below. They buried me in that gray tomb that knows no sound. But I'm still around. I'll always be around, 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 around. I fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I'll find a place to rest my spirit if I can. Perhaps I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I will remain. I'll be back again and again and again and again and again.
You're the new MC, mate. I'll be getting it. All righty. So I've gone to water, obviously. It is? You still going? You're tricking with me, mate. Well done. I'm all nervous now. Okay, before we do anything, so there's a whole lot of photos over on the table with pens. Don't steal the pen, Shannon said. What you can do with that, you can write a memory on the back of the photo, leave it here. Yep. keep it. Memento. Yeah, you'll leave a memory for the family, so you can do that. There's plenty over there. Okay, so we're right to go to the next, I think. So I'd like to invite those who are able to join the family to do a lap of honour before spreading some of Ray's ashes in the centre circle. I sort of felt like the back pocket would be more appropriate, but we will pass that. So we're walking or running, Dean? Excellent, thank you, mate. I'm pleased. Following the lap of honour, everyone's invited to safer food and refreshments in the clubhouse. Let's celebrate a life well lived, share some stories, tell a few lies. I'll tell you a few. Enjoy each other's company. Thank you so much. What an amazing day. I'm so honoured to be up here, even though I did stuff up a couple of times. Clapping and stuff for a tribute is pretty amazing. And look, this family is incredible, and having all you guys up here and sort of seems weird, but standing a few feet away from raw emotion like that is it blows my mind incredibly. So thank you. And I'd really like to say, Helen Warren, you bloody legend. You bloody legend. Like, this woman can talk, I'm telling you. If God only gives you so many words, you're in trouble one day. But I remember being really hungover not long ago. Hey, Dale, was like phone beside the bed. Who's that? I don't know. Rolled over. Helen and Ray Warren. Shit, better get it. Something's wrong. Picked up the phone. It was only 6 weeks ago, I reckon. Yeah, and it was when Dean ran into the tree on the tractor because it was, he needs to wear a helmet, that boy, I'm telling you. And Ray got on for about 3 or 4 words, and then she took over again. And I went up, made a cup of coffee, cleaned the pool, mowed the grass, had a shower, come back in, still going. And I love you, darling. Thank you, darling. All right. Let's get out there. Got to take the cup, Dino. Dino, get the cup, bro.